Hello again, YouTube. It's Expendable123 here with my Kerbal Space Program Let's Play. This is episode 2, in which we send a manned mission into orbit. So we're going to go ahead and use... Actually, I don't think I named it. Let's go ahead and go to the space building. This is the craft I have. Use the 2-meter tanks. These are stock engines, stock tanks, with a nice little cowling over this. There's a stock decoupler, stock tank. I have a MechJeb radio on there just to see information. I'm not going to use it as an autopilot. Got an RCS tank with some RCS on there, a decoupler, a lander, and then this. So I've got my unit with, I believe, Jebediah Kerman should be the guy because this is my first Kerbal. Parachute, and then my retro booster. Make sure it's on the correct thing again. Okay. So, we're gonna name this Manned Orbit Mark 1. I'm gonna save it and go to launch. Now I'm gonna try and do this quick because I know that, you know, since it's manned, I can't warp through a whole lot of it. Let's make that go away. That can stay on. Okay. So we are ready to launch. Let's go ahead and make it happen. Make sure I got fine controls on. So this is just the burn phase, nothing too terribly fancy. I should be executing a roll to about 50 degrees at starting at 10 kilometers and going to about somewhere between 10 to 15. And then from there, at 20 I should switch to about 20 degrees. And then from, at 35k, I think I need to thrust off. And then I should just be ascending from there, and then stuff will happen, you'll see. So, yeah, this is a manned mission. We got Jebediah Kerman in vehicle, just kind of hanging out, seeing what's going on. Still aiming pretty good. Got that SAS system working for us, a smart ASS system working for us. We're getting almost to the time when we start our gravity turn, which should be now. So we're going to tip it over to about 50 degrees, so let's make that happen. And that should be about right here. Right. And then in a little while we're going to slowly start transferring that to a 20-degree turn, starting now. I'm being a little, I'm kind of manhandling the controls, but in testing of this I found that I've got plenty of fuel for everything else, so we're just going to go ahead and keep it here till about 35 kilometers up, and then we are going to cut thrust. Leave it to RCS to kind of guide us up a little bit. Alright, cut thrust now. RCS on. And we're going to hold position here. And let's look at where we're at. We're looking at... Our outpost is actually higher than I want it, but that's fine. So we're just going to kind of leave it the way it is. And at about 70 kilometers up, we're going to tip it over the horizon. Let's just do that now. Alright, now at apogee, or apoapsis, we're going to burn until perigee shows up. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit. We've got 2 minutes. So I can negotiate a little bit. Alright, now the trick to this is I do not want stuff floating around in my atmosphere forever, in orbit. So before I achieve a genuine orbit, I'm actually going to detach this large tank. So, why am I under acceleration? And right about here is where I'm going to... Alright. Now, since I'm already at the correct altitude that I want to be at, I'm going to go ahead and start burn. So I'm going to put my orbit information up here. Close that. Now I want this periapsis to burn towards the horizon. I want to disengage. Ah, here we go. Alright, if I did that correctly, the periapsis should be burn down. That's good. So let's go to the map and check it out. We're gonna have kind of a lopsided orbit, but that's okay. Ah, these things achieved orbit. Well, that's okay. My apoapsis is about 600. That's about... what's my altitude right now? 120. It's a sloppy orbit, but you know, it's an orbit. So we're gonna go ahead and zoom. We're gonna have to do something about that debris later. This will give me a little bonus footage because I will definitely make some sort of missile that will chase him down. That'd be kind of cool. We'll do that later. That's later. So we're gonna go ahead and complete the orbit, which complete orbit should be about right there. Once we complete the orbit, we'll go around again, execute a retrograde burn, and try to make it land somewhere on this continent. We want to land on we want land. In testing, I have found that there's enough fuel to make this baby land wherever I want it to safely under power, but we're gonna work on that. So I think here I should burn an apoapsis to slow me down. So once we get close to that, I'm gonna turn the zoom off. Let's keep it going a little bit. I want to get to at least 1 minute away from it. Alright, right here. Alright, we're going to switch to retrograde. I'm going to burn a little bit and see where that's taking me. It should bring my periapsis down. I want my periapsis to be pretty close. Alright, we're going to leave it at there. Ooh, that's going to get me in the atmosphere. Let's correct that. We want to... I got plenty of fuel for that. Let's just get it back up to just above 70. Because that's when atmosphere starts showing up and that's when we start slowing down. There we go. Okay, we're good right there. A lot of fuel. Alright, good. So we're going to go ahead and speed this up. Once we get to our periapsis, that's whenever we should do a retrograde burn. Let's see now. And this should bring our apoapsis in quite a bit. And slow that burn down a little bit. Nope, we're going to be landing on the dark side. How much fuel do we have? Have a little bit more. We want to make sure we at least... okay, good. Alright, so we are going to be inside atmosphere soon and hopefully landing on that continent. So let's go ahead and time accelerate. And I think we can only do 4 times in atmosphere, which is it's fine. So you know we're tumbling because of the atmosphere. But that's okay. We got RCS. We got the we got SAS on. SAS with the RCS. Acronyms, you know, that sort of thing. So we are just going to kind of let it sit and accelerate until, let's see, where exactly are we going to be landing? I can't really tell. The sun would cooperate. I believe the Space Center, I can't even see it. I'm not even going to pretend like I can see it. Okay, if I remember the landscape, it's actually just past this. so we are pretty close. Slow that down. So it kind of gain control of itself for almost like RCS. So let's translate down, aim at retrograde, kind of put our horizon. Let's go to in vehicle, look around a little bit. Pods and some water and juice. You can see the night sky. We got stuff going on over here. That's cool. Okay. But it looks like we might be landing in water. So let's go ahead and just kind of let it happen. And then once we get over land again, that's whenever we will start our last deceleration. Next moon. Okay, we are at 25,000. This is where we're really going to start accelerating. That's fine. We want to at least get that land. I mean, it's not bad to land in the water, but we're going to be landing in the water. Some sort of altitude. That's all we got. Let's separate that guy. Knock him out of the way. What exploded? Something exploded back there. Anyways, we're gonna be landing in water. I tried, but we're not. I mean, if the space center's something like right over there, so we're not terribly far off, but we are going to fire our burning retrograde thingamajig at about, let's call it, let's call it at 2005. And burn, separate, parachute, and then cross our fingers. Come on, Jebediah Kerman. It's a good thing your little lander floats. Lower the landing gear. There's the parachute, and there's the deceleration. Yeah, we're definitely gonna make it. The water is a bit more forgetting to land on. But here we go. The first manned orbit and the first manned landing. Good job, Jebediah Kerman, on your piloting. I mean, you may not have used your fuel as effectively as you could have with all that crazy orbit, but, you did your job. You got it into space. Nothing exploded that we didn't intend to. We did kind of leave some junk in the atmosphere, in the atmospheric orbit, and that's coming out of your paycheck. These missiles that we're going to have to launch coming out of your paycheck. Good job with that. Alright, and this has been the manned mission. After this, we will be doing a unmanned satellite launch